the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have two sets of minutes. We have the September 24th, 2018 work session. Is there a motion?
Move we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? So approved. And also the September 24th, 2018 regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the minutes?
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 It's approved. Announcements. The Select Board will meet on the following dates. The regular meetings will be on Monday, October 22nd, November 13th, and November 26th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Work sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. The town offices will be closed on Monday, November 12th, in observance of Veterans Day, and there will be a ceremony in front of the town hall starting at 10:30 a.m. All are welcome. All of the above meetings will be held in the town hall unless otherwise specified. Citizens wishing to be listed on the Select Board's agenda should notify the town hall before 12 p.m. Friday before the scheduled meeting. Alternate members are always needed to fill positions on the zoning and planning boards. If interested, please submit a letter of intent to the Plymouth Selectboard's office at 6 Post Office Square in Plymouth, 03264. I do have a comment, and it's regarding the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting that I attended last Tuesday. And there was discussion that included a request for a special exception to allow two primary structures that will be at the lot that's over on the Riverside Landing. Mm-hmm. And we're happy to notify the public that one of the proposed structures is the long-awaited Market Basket store. And the board is very happy to take this opportunity to welcome Market Basket, at least tentatively. It still has to go before planning board, but we'd like to welcome Market Basket to the town of Plymouth. We feel the public will definitely support the process and allow Market Basket to come to our town, and this promises to be a whole new beginning for the town of Plymouth. And there's also a picture of, or at least a representation of the project, and it's currently posted on both our Facebook. We have a Facebook? Okay. Our Facebook site as well as our website, and it shows the the completed project. See? Anyway.
Oh, if you hold it up a little bit longer.
Or you think that this is going to be like zoomed in?
You might be able to zoom.
I think they'll probably
We will post it.
Yep. And either Andrew or Jules, I'm sure, will put a slide up that will show that. And the location of that building will be to the left of the hotel if you're looking at Riverside Landing, and it'll be in the back. So with parking around the building, and, well, to be determined. They still have to have a site plan review and approval by the planning board, so it's a little premature for that. But anyway, that's great news. Any other comments, or actually,
Long time coming.
yeah, long time coming. Wow, we got time to kill.
And a committee report.
We've got the new purchase order. And do we want to have an explanation of the $228,000 highway thing, or? So the first purchase order, before we go into a public hearing, is Joe Fagnan. Highland Street vendors, additional paving, possibly in spring. Hey, Joe.
So Highland Street's almost done. I bet you'd rather hear that it is done, but almost. So there's gonna be a little, there's gonna be some money left. And so I have a whole bunch of small things that I wanna do, and this money is part of the money that was slated for Highland Street. So instead of trying to get a purchase order for every little thing, I'm just gonna use it, because I'm gonna be doing guardrails, and then there's gonna be some more patch paving on the sidewalks, and then we're gonna take the worst sections of Highland from that project and try to fix them with that money, because that money was slated for Highland, and so we need to use it, and so that's why I'm trying to just get it as a blanket so I can get all this stuff done. The guide rails, if I get this approved, will probably be first thing, because I want to get them in before winter. So if you're coming down Highland Street, right there,
Yeah, on the.
there used
on the
to
right
be
there.
some telephone poles, but that's ancient.
Okay. And so is there any more drainage and stuff that would have to be done?
Well,
or-
the drainage is pretty much done. They're gonna be pulling some curbing. And then trying to just get the water to run to the basins. So one drawback that we just had was the sidewalk for Smith Street, the crosswalk that they want to put across. The way that lays out, we had it engineered, and when you come across, there's a telephone pole right in the tip down, right when you cross over, so it won't, I can't get it to work, so I asked if we could get the pole moved, and they said sure, so we're lining it all up to get the job done, and then co-op came, and they can only move it back about 2 feet in one way, about 8 inches, which isn't enough. So that's on hold until I can get it engineered so we can get the crosswalk to work, but which will probably be in the spring.
By either
So
making it
that
more
stuff-
diagonal, making it more diagonal, or just instead of like a perpendicular?
I have to be careful, so that's why I'm working with the engineer, because when it comes to that, there's a lot of state specs that you gotta go by. It
Okay.
can't be, you just can't wing it.
Right.
There's some drawbacks to, so we'll get it though, but that'll probably be done in the spring.
Okay. Yes, Paul?
Joe, we're gonna have to wait on the approval of that, because if Ally's grant, TAP grant goes through, which does work on Highland Street, we're gonna need 100,000 of that for our match.
Okay, so
It's still Highland Street.
can I take the difference?
But you still have to, we have to show that we have it, and when will we know, Ally?
For TAP?
Yeah. January?
So does Joe have $128,000 to work with?
I would say so.
You said you wanted the
Everything,
guardrails?
I can tell you this, everything that Joe has there will be used on Highland Street. It's just that we have a chance to get a lot more money for Highland Street if we have that 100,000 reserved.
Yeah.
So
If we
could
can prove
we,
that we saved that.
So
for-
leave-
could we
leave that under-
approve $100,000 tonight for Joe so he can at least get started on the guardrails? Does that work?
The state has not given us an exact number of what our match is gonna be.
Okay.
I want to say 100 and then it's 110.
Right. How much are the guardrails? Do you have an estimate for that?
I do, but I don't have them with me. I mean, I've got a bunch of paving slated, and I have them tentatively lined up, so.
Paul?
We're not gonna spend a dime of Joe's money. So it's, whether that gets signed tonight or 2 weeks from now, we'll just have a much better figure for you 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, when the state lets us know, and we can look at what that match will be. Or we can get a worst-case scenario and reserve that much money. But Joe's still gonna have this money. It's not, it can't be used for something else. So he's not gonna lose it to another department, he's not gonna lose it to another project. So. So you can start planning, if I were you, you can start planning in your mind what to do with 128,000.
Well, I have some stuff slated, I'm just trying to figure out how to pay for it. That's why
You got, what, 2
so I'll have
minutes?
to just come in for individual purchase orders.
No, we'll do a blanket. You still have things that you have to do out there now.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to continue until we know. Like right now, I feel comfortable saying Joe can have 100,000.
Well, I'm not gonna spend nearly that, I'm looking to try to button up the safety on the sidewalk and get the guardrails in before winter. The rest can all be done in the spring.
Sounds pretty prudent, so.
Can we get another purchase order for that? Maybe, see how much that's gonna cost?
You can bring it in.
Yeah, he'll have to bring the PO in anyway. I mean, this is, it's not a blanket expenditure thing.
Okay.
Well, and so, yeah, you don't need this approved then, right? I mean, you just bring the PO in of the, thing, and we'll take a look at it and probably approve it.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, just whatever I have slated, I'll have to put off until I get the purchase order. That's
Whatever
all.
you need to do this fall, to make it both safe and, what we can do in the fall.
And that's what I'm saying, we can approve what he needs to do this fall.
Right.
Do you have a dollar amount for this fall, Joe?
I
Would $100,000 be more than enough?
correct.
That's what I'm saying, you can approve up to $100,000.
Okay. Okay. Is there a
So that he
motion?
doesn't,
Okay.
which will include the project that he just mentioned,
Yep.
not
So-
to exceed $100,000.
So it's kind of what Val had said, $100,000.
15 minutes ago.
Is that your motion?
I would move that we approve $100,000 for the projects that Joe wants to approach on Highland Street this fall.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay. There's one more.
We need to go into a public hearing right now. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's 6:16. I'm calling a public hearing pursuant to RSA 3195B to accept unanticipated funds in the amount of $127,067 from a FEMA Homeland Security grant for the purchase of self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA. Is there, well, actually, do we want some explanation on this? Chiefs, yeah. Wherever.
Yeah, Tom.
So,
Hey.
Thank you for the work here.
you're welcome. This was a FEMA grant that we applied for about a year ago, for those that may not be aware, for self-contained breathing apparatus. And we just got notified last month that we were going to be awarded $127,067 to purchase 20 air packs, which represents 95% of the total cost. So our share is, I think, $63.53. And we have selected a vendor since last we spoke. And if everything goes well tonight, we hope to have them here in November for our fire training in November. So we can, that's part of the agreement, is to have the vendor train with us on them. So that's the plan.
All right.
And to remind the board, you approved it.
Yeah, no, I
2 weeks
remember
ago.
that.
This is
Yep.
just another step that the chiefs have to take.
Yep.
That we have to
Formally.
put on record.
Sorry, to formally accept it, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Questions, comments?
Yeah. Is there, and also, is there anyone in favor of the FEMA grant application? Or all right, we got two.
Does this have to stay open for a certain amount of time, the hearing?
No,
No.
until we run
Yes,
out
the
of,
Public a chance to speak, but there is no public.
yeah, right. Well, they're technically public, but I see a hand in favor of it. So is there any opposition?
Any public that's not a firefighter?
Yeah. We got two
That lives
people.
in Plymouth?
I'll narrow it down.
Okay, therefore, it's 6:19. I'm closing the public hearing. Bring it back to the board. God bless you, Tommy.
Thank you.
Well, nice work.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Joe, do you want to do your other PO, please? And it's for 1,600 yards of winter sand, 75 per cubic yard.
So we're not getting it from Belmont anymore.
Well, the challenge that I was faced with that is it's cheaper to buy it at Belmont, but by the time I truck it up here,
Trucking,
it costs me more.
okay.
So, because I have a challenge of not going over and I don't have enough money in that line item anyways, so I'm just buying what's basically what that line item tells me I can buy. So, so Ambrose has it, it cost me more to buy the sand, but we did the math and it equals out to a little bit less, it's closer to home. And the quality of the sand isn't quite as good, but yet, the challenge is to try to keep my budget, so we have to try something different to make it work.
Did the yellow stuff have a little bit of clay mixed in, or what made that so much better?
The stuff from Belmont has more,
Angular.
gravel, grit,
Fine. Yeah,
So-
grit, yeah.
and it's beautiful stuff, but, Ambrose stuff is good, it's just, my preference would be the other stuff, but
Yeah.
we're gonna try to do something so we can try to keep more control of how much we can buy and use and.
It's gonna go through the Sanders the same way, though? It's not gonna affect
Yep.
the,
No, it'll be good, it'll work, it's,
Okay.
Make a motion that we approve the expenditure of $14,000 for this 2018 sand, 1819 sand.
Is there a second?
second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
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 thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So therefore, it is, there we go. Thank you, Val. All right, so at this time, I'm going to read the resolution for the Moose Plate Grant. Resolution for the Moose Plate Grant. Be it resolved that this municipality shall enter into a contract with the state of New Hampshire, acting by and through the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, providing for the performance by this municipality of certain services as documented within the foregoing grant application. And that the official listed town administrator, Paul Freitas, on behalf of this municipality, is authorized and directed to enter into the said agreement with the state of New Hampshire and that they are to take any and all such actions that may be deemed necessary, desirable of appropriate in order to execute, seal, acknowledge, and deliver any and all documents, agreements, and other instruments on behalf of this municipality in order to accomplish the same. Wow. That's some sentence. Be it also resolved that the signature of the above authorized party or parties of this municipality, when affixed to any instrument of document described in or contemplated by these resolutions, shall be conclusive evidence of the authority of said parties to bind this municipality, thereby, where's the continuation? Is there a little addendum on that, or is that it? Thereby, be it resolved that this board enter into this agreement with the state and our board. And there's no action to be taken. We took an action earlier to assign Paul as a signatory for this, so. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Ally. What's that?
He said thank you.
Are there any committee reports? Mike?
Yes.
Go for it.
So, let's see, September 27th, there was a Chamber Board of Directors meeting that I attended. There are, at that meeting, there were 111 paid members for the Chamber. A quick assessment on what their expenses are per year would mean that to break even would be about 150 members needed, so they're a little shy of that. Actually, 225 to keep the chamber viable, not the 150. So they've got a letter going out to some of the members that hadn't joined, rejoined from last year. They did have a golf tournament, October 4th at Owl's Nest. I believe that had 19 teams. Were you there, John?
Mm-hmm. Sure was.
So maybe John can talk a little bit about that. Then I attended a school board meeting October 1st. While I was there, not related, but a parent asked about the three-way intersection between Thurlow, Langdon, and Texas Hill Road. They thought it should be 3 stops rather than having one lane, one way continue to go through. So at the school board meeting, it was a very interesting meeting. That was the one to be at. They talked about the first grade, and probably Brian knows a lot more than I do. The state recommends no more than 20 students per classroom before you really need to add another class with another teacher. I believe they are at 17, so one of the teachers really would like to see a third class, which would bring it down to approximately 12 students per grade. Normally, that would be a very small class, but I guess there are some students that need a little bit extra attention, so they really would like to see that, the teachers anyway. But there's not a lot of interest for some of the parents to take their kids out of one of the 2 classes to make a third one. They only had, I believe, 2 volunteers. So the board, or the committee, the school board, is really looking after the bottom line with their budget and is looking for alternative ways rather than paying a full-time teacher to come in for the remainder of the year, utilizing Chapter 1 money to some degree. Title 1 to some degree, plus now bringing in an aide that would be dedicated to the first grade to pull students out to give them more one-on-one or more 6-on-1 time versus the 17 in a class. So they're hoping that would be a cheaper way to handle it and still get the same result. So, very exciting meeting. Let's see. Then I had an impromptu meeting with Brian at the front desk, and Kevin French stopped in, and I thought, well, boy, could be a really nice start to Plymouth's Economic Committee. So we talked a little bit about that. I have some ideas that I would like to see going forward with the Economic Committee, and if we can finalize who's going to be on that, I'm really anxious to get moving on that. That's it.
Very good.
Mike, just a point, the three-way intersection,
Yes.
didn't we talk about that a couple of years ago maybe? And it was already addressed that there wasn't able to be a stop sign on an incline?
Is that what it was?
I think so. Am I mistaken? Yeah,
Oh. I will let that parent know.
yeah. That was
It's-
addressed. That was
I've never
addressed a
heard of
couple-
that, such a
Yeah.
thing. But
Maybe it was when we were on the planning board or something, somebody had,
it's nothing I remember.
okay.
John, did you want to say anything about the golf tournament before we?
I can when I had
Oh,
a
okay.
committee meeting too. Last Thursday, the planning board met at the Panther Pub and resolved the situation. I guess New Hampshire Co-op is going to remove the trees, and other trees will be planted in their place that would be more aesthetic to, close proximity to buildings and the power lines and that. So we met back and approved the plans for the expansion of the Panther Pub based on the tree removal and the other thing. And we had the equipment out there to, check for clearance and everything, so so everything's going to proceed in that finally. And I did attend the Chamber Golf Tournament, got to meet a lot of local business people, made some contacts with some new people at Meredith Village Bank, and we do business, town does business with them, but we've got some new people in, so it was well attended, and a lot of people got to exchange information, meet one another, and hopefully create some business for the area. So.
Good. Thanks, John. Anything else, or is that?
That's it.
Can I make one more comment while we're on this side
Sorry.
still? Frank Cucciarello will be attending our meeting in 2 weeks to discuss involvement and support by the town of Plymouth for the chamber, whether we want to support financially or to what level. So plan on that for in 2 weeks.
Very good. That'd be great. Al?
I have nothing.
Be attending a Plymouth Parks and Rec commission meeting tomorrow night at 5. That's all.
All right, thank you. Are there any public comments? Seeing none. Is there a motion?
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Are we,
I still have a couple of things in non-public.
Oh,
okay. Well, so
Make a
in that
motion, we
case,
go to non-public.
Under RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, A through I. Thanks, Mike.
second.
Second. No,
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye.